What's up, everybody? Uh, well, this kind of sucks, but I do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to cover this story. If there's one silver lining in this entire thing, it's I've gotten so many messages, calls, DMs from just people out of nowhere. Dabo Sweeney, Coach Beamer, Fred McGriff, who I've known forever, Sterling Sharp reached out. And there's so many other people that have reached out directly to contact me, and it's just been absolutely incredible amount of support. That, and then the second part is so many people have reached out to me and saying, what were your symptoms? I've had some similar symptoms. What should I do? I was like, dude, go get checked out. If you feel off even a little bit, put your pride aside because I'm as prideful as they come. And it took my wife about 6 or 7 months for for her to kick my ass into go seeing the doctor. It was 7 months too long. I wish I would have listened earlier, but you got to trust your gut. And if you feel off a little bit, go get checked out. And that's kind of my main message to get out to everybody as this whole thing has kind of progressed. And um, yeah, I'll kind of give you the full rundown of what happened. So really started, I guess it was last July, last summer. Had some abdominal pain in my left lower abdomen. Um, and I didn't think anything of it. I was taking some inconsistent stools. Sometimes it would be like pellets, they'd be, thin, other times it'd be like normal. But there was never any blood in anything. And, I just figured it was something like irritable bowel syndrome or something like that. So I didn't think anything of it. I said, I'll beat this, whatever, I have no idea what this is. I'll get through it. Obviously a few months happened and it, just never ended. And my wife's like, that's it, enough's enough. We're gonna go get an ultrasound. So went and got an ultrasound. The ultrasound noticed a few spots on my liver and they recommended getting an MRI. So we got the MRI. They found two lesions on the right side, right lobe of the liver. And they said, you got to go get a colonoscopy immediately. So we did. And the guy went up there and said he was 13 centimeters up and said, I can't pass through there without, knocking anything down. We're going to order a biopsy, make sure it's the same cancer because that's what we think it is. They matched. So it started with the colon, trickled into the liver. Luckily, that's where it's at now, and that's the only place it is of as of now. Knock on wood. And they that was April 22nd, and we started chemo this past Wednesday. So I got this nice little cool bag on me right now that's going into my port. So that's a fun little, cool little European accessory satchel I got going on right now. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm on day two of this whole thing. I take this thing off today at in about 3 hours. Then I can finally take a shower and try to have some sort of normalcy. But it's a hell of a journey. The doctors that I have and the oncologists, the surgeons that I've met with up to date have been extremely confident. They're like, you're a young dude, you're healthy, other obviously outside of the cancer diagnosis, but you're healthy, you're active, you eat well, cut back on drinking a little bit or a lot of it, completely cut it out, which that's going to be pretty difficult because this is the time where I want to drink. But that's put off to the side. This is way more important than anything else. And yeah, I'm just using this entire thing to try to emphasize people that if they're not feeling 100%, if there's anything wrong, to just go get checked out, put your pride aside and just go get checked out. That's the main thing I want to do for and spread as much word as possible. So that's where we're at. The plan right now is 4 to 6 cycles of chemo. They have me on full Fox, I think is what it's called. It's the heaviest of guns they got. Um, So I'm on that for 4 to 6 cycles, which is every other week. So it's going to be 8 to 6 or to 12 weeks. The plan is to see the tumor shrink, and then in that case, they will radiate it and then perform surgery to cut it out. And then we got a whole nother journey of that whole deal. But at the end of the day, they want to make sure it's NED with no evidence of disease, and that's kind of what we're shooting for, and that's what we're hoping for. And the amount of support that's been pouring in so far is extremely uplifting, and seeing all your faces on here is it's awesome to see, and I really truly from the bottom of my heart appreciate you guys.
With that, we'll open up for questions. Rick Henry, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead, Rick.
Hi, Stephen.
So man,
Thank you for thank you for doing this. And as a cancer survivor, I just want to say I'm sending up prayers for you, and I know you can beat it and come out on top. As an athlete and as a guy, when you got the word that you had cancer, just take us through that moment. And also, because you're an athlete and you've been competing all of your life, how is this helping you in this fight now?
oh man, well, when we got the news, I was so drugged up from the colonoscopy, I had no idea what was really going on. My wife was there, and I kept asking the guy, I was like, I don't know what you're saying, man. I'm just, can I get the hell out of here? I'm ready to get out of this hospital. And he's like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. So, my wife was in tears, and I just had no idea what was happening. And then obviously, once the drugs wore off, I kind of was like, well, that kind of sucks. That's pretty shitty news. What now? Because we had no idea what was going on. But I look at it as just another battle. I'm built for this kind of operation, and it's not going to be easy. And I've talked with many people, many friends that have gone through similar stuff, and they're like, you're going to have tough days, and you just gotta take it one day at a time. And there's a book that I read a long time ago, No Easy Day. It's about Navy SEALs, and one of the things that I've always remembered, it's, how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. So that's the motto I'm going with right now, and just taking one day at a time and trying to stay as positive as possible. And, we're gonna kick this thing in the teeth and knock it out. That's there's no other option. There's no other plan B. That this is what we're doing, and I have complete faith in the team that I have around me. And like I said, you guys carrying and sharing this story is huge for my positive mentality.
Matt Dow.
Hey, Stephen, you spoke about just the outpouring of love that you've had over these past 48 hours. The GoFundMe has been pretty incredible. The response from people all over the country, just what's it been like for you to have just so many people nationwide, both in the sport, fans, and just around the country, reach out, support you, whether that's emotionally or financially?
I can't. It's truly humbling. I say that, and I've said that over the last few days of just how humbled I am to for these people that I have no idea who they are. They're just sending. I mean, there's people that are sending $7 at a time. There's people that are sending $5,000, $10,000. It's truly amazing, and every bit helps because we don't really know what's going to happen, but we have a plan. We're hopeful about what's going to happen, but you never know. But the fact that AJ McCarron, reached out. Roll Tide Willie reached out. The guys from Auburn, just all over the country. Dabo Sweeney, he's literally texting me right now. Coach Beamer, Jeremiah, the athletic director of South Carolina, he's like, we have a plan. We're gonna have a meeting today, and we're gonna pull through for you. So there's so many people that have come together, and it's been wild to see. And my phone's here. It's died like 50 times already because I'm just trying to respond to everybody and just make sure they know that I'm genuinely extremely thankful for them even caring about what I have to do and what I'm going through.
Jack Belcher.
Hey, Steven, appreciate you doing this. I'm interested, what's kind of the day-to-day like for you right now? Like, obviously, it looks like you're at home, but you mentioned that you've been at the hospital. What does that all look like for you right now? And do you kind of just try to keep your life as normal as you can with, coaching and just doing everything that you would have done otherwise?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, the doctor said there is going to be times where this chemo is going to whip your ass and you're not going to feel like moving. But we encourage you to continue training, continue working out, continue staying active. Don't set any PRs on bench or squat, but continue to lift weights. Protein's your friend. But yeah, as far as the day to day goes, it's changed drastically. Trying to, I can't drink anything cold, so like I can't have cold water. It like feels like razor blades going down your face. So that sucks. watching my diet. I've watched my diet for the last probably month, ever since we kind of got the intuition that there might be something going on with the liver. So cut out sugar, minimizing carbohydrate intake, which is all what they said to do. So yeah, I mean it's been tough, but I mean this is what I got to do. There's no, like I said, there's no other option. But yeah, staying in the fight, training the kids. I train on Thursday morning, the day after chemo, so I plan on training tomorrow morning, and just gonna try to make sure these kids know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not dead. I'm gonna keep moving and keep fighting and kind of try to keep them getting better. So just trying to stay as normal as possible.
Carrie Beal.
Hey, this is Carrie Beal with Fox Carolina News. I'm a mom of a 3-year-old, and I see that you have 3 kids. So, how has that been, telling them, or what have you told them, if you're okay sharing that? How are you going through this with your wife? How are you holding your family together and kind of being strong in this moment that I imagine is so difficult?
It's extremely difficult. But I have a crazy Russian wife who has kept everyone uh in the loop, and she's extremely strong, and it'd be tough to do it without her, that's for damn sure. But yeah, it was definitely excuse me. It was tough telling the kids, especially my son, because he's 18, he kind of knows what's going on. My 11-year-old daughter, I didn't really tell her the extent of it, just because I don't need her, worrying too much. But eventually I'm gonna have to tell her. And then obviously, having a 3-year-old, she doesn't know what's going on yet, but she's incredible. She's born on my birthday, and she is my spitting image of me, so that's hell on earth to deal with, but it's it's keeping me entertained, and she's incredible, and just it's not easy. It's not easy at all telling, loved ones that you have, cancer, and nobody wants to hear that kind of news, but it is what it is, and got a very strong family, a big family that's reached out every single day, all day, every day, and coming by the house to kind of show their support, and bring food over and just this and that. And I'm extremely grateful for not only the support system that I have outside of my family, but my internal family has been absolutely incredible. And it starts with my wife. I mean, she's been kicking ass.
Go back to Rick.
Stephen, um, you talked about how your wife got on you and, just kept bugging you until you finally went to the doctor. I had a similar situation with my wife years ago. She got me going to a doctor on a regular basis. Were you kind of reluctant as a guy, like a lot of guys are, to go to the doctor because we consider ourselves indestructible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, yeah, I can fix this. I can change oil. I don't need to go see a doctor to figure out what's wrong with me. And I feel like that's a lot of guys my age, a lot of guys in general, especially in the sports industry. They're so used to taking care of themselves and doing their own thing, and feeling invincible. And for the most part, I feel like we are, but there's certain times, and that's just one thing I wish I would have done is listen to her earlier. But uh, when we asked the doctors, how long this has possibly been going on, he said it's been years. He said it's anywhere from 3 to 7 years that you've had this going on. So, um, which is eye-opening, to say the least. And with what my diagnosis was, now they said your kids now have to have a colonoscopy at 28 years old. When it's I think it's at 45 now. Now they're saying I got to have my children and my immediate family members get colonoscopies like now. I'm the second to youngest, so my younger brother's like, yeah, I'm going to get one now. Now that there's family history, I got to go do it. So, like I said, I encourage everyone to quarterback your health and take charge of yourself. You got to go see the doctor. If you feel off a little bit, go see the damn doctor. This is what they're paid to do. This is their livelihood. This is what they've trained to do. You've trained to be an athlete. They're trained to be a doctor and to take care of you. So put your pride aside and just go get it done.
Lou.
how important were you reluctant to go public with the news, or you think that this is important? People need to hear your message and everything. How important was it to go public?
Oh, it was extremely, and it was very tough, man. We had a Kentucky Derby party where, my mom's side of the family is from Louisville, so we're big Kentucky Derby fans. But I had a bunch of friends over, a bunch of family, and I just couldn't find a time or work up the courage to kind of tell them in person. I was like, I felt like suffocated. I couldn't tell anybody. So it was a pretty big burden to hold. Obviously I told my parents and my siblings and my uncles, but I didn't tell any of my friends that were over, and I didn't tell any of their wives. And my wife was like, you got to tell these people, and I said I can't do it. So when she published the GoFundMe, my phone started blowing up, and the original people were calling. They were like, I think your account got hacked. AI is taking over your page. I don't know what's going on, but there's no way this is real. And I was like, it is as real as that could be. So it's a very tough conversation to have. But this, like I said, the silver lining in this thing is just I want to encourage people to get checked out, and to if I can use my platform to save even one person or get one person to say, man, I don't feel right. I need to go get checked out. I mean, I think the job is done. So that's the main message, and be vocal about it. Spread. And I've gotten so many people that have reached out to me and said, thank you so much. I've already set my appointment. I'm going to meet with my doctor next week. It's like, that's all right, good. It's working. So yeah, it's tough, but I mean, this is a journey that we're all on the same team, and we got no other option. It's move forward and let's go.
Go to Terry Wallace.
Hey, Stephen. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and as you go into this battle and everything that you've already gone through, as somebody that has seen a father go through this in recent years, the biggest thing was asking for help, but at the same time being able to kind of be open with your feelings and what's going on inside your head. I don't know if you have a philosophy on that, but there seems to be a stigma out there that men don't talk as much about mental health. How do you approach this, over the next couple of months, just from a mind standpoint, of being able to share what you're going through?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked that, because in years past, I thought mental health was a absolute joke. Just to be completely frank with you guys, I mean, I was like, yeah, if you got to have some mental toughness. I mean, I played for Coach Spurrier. I had to develop a lot of mental toughness to deal with him. Um, but I was also extremely hard-headed, so there's double-edged sword. But yeah, I mean, it's huge, and I've talked with one of my best friends that I grew up with, who's now the tight ends coach for the Ravens. He called me while I was getting chemo, and he's like, I had a tumor the size of two fists in his chest. He did chemo, he did the whole thing, and he's like, dude, the biggest thing I can tell you is you got to be mentally positive, because there's going to be days where you're going to feel like absolute hell. You're not going to want to see anybody. You're not going to want to talk to anybody. You just want to give up. You got to stay mentally in the game, mentally tough. And it's this whole process has opened my eyes to a whole different deal. And people can change. Like I said, I was against the whole mental health. I thought it was, for all intents and purposes, kind of stupid. But it's changed my opinion. It's changed my outlook on life in general. And I encourage everyone to speak up. And like I said, I've gotten hundreds of people that have messaged me like, "Hey, man, I've gone through this personally. I know, my aunt, my uncle, my family. I've had family members that have gone through this similar thing. If you ever need anybody to talk to, please lean into me. Just and everyone said the same thing. You got to stay mentally in it, and if you are positive mentally, you're gonna get through it. If you start feeling like you're down in the dumps, figure out a way to get positive. So that's a great question. I appreciate you asking that, because I'm a firm believer in staying mentally in the game and mentally tough. It's no joke, man. If you are where your mind's at, and I appreciate you asking me that.
Go back to Carrie.
Hey, yeah, I had another question. When a lot of people hear stage four, they think, wow, this has got to be really serious. And it is a serious stage of colorectal cancer. How confident are your doctors that the chemotherapy that they have you on is going to work? And the fact that you're young and healthy, do you think that plays a factor in how well you might battle this?
Absolutely. I think that's why they decided to go with they call it the big gun. So when he told me that, I was like, dude, double the dosage, man. Let's get this thing freaking out of here. Give me whatever you can. I can take it. So yeah, I mean, I'm extremely confident. I've had a few guys that have reached out to me, with connections to MD Anderson. They're like, if you need to, I'm on the board. I can get you in. I was like, I want to be in Tampa. The Moffitt Cancer Center is world renowned. People fly in here all the time to get, work done. So we're planning on going with Moffitt, and this guy has reached out to me and said he's talked to the oncologist literally today and the head of Moffitt, and he said they've talked with each other, and they know the situation, and they said, we're going to get through this. It's an aggressive plan. They said it is an aggressive plan. It will kind of beat your ass a little bit in the beginning, but we're going to temper off towards the end to get you ready for radiation and for surgery. So, if you can fight through this thing in the beginning, which we have full confidence you can, you're going to come out stronger on the backside of this thing. And that's all I'm at, with Trey's question, my mental aspect right now is we're going to whip this thing's ass, and we're going to move forward and come out stronger, and, hopefully use this entire situation to inspire, the next generation of people my age. Cause that's who it's affecting the most right now is people in my age group. And it's crazy. But it is what it is. But if I can inspire kids and guys to get checked out sooner rather than later, I feel like it's mission accomplished.
Let's go to Zach.
Stephen, what you're doing right now is incredibly courageous. I myself, it runs in the family, so I can really get back to where you're coming from. A few years ago, I got checked at age 32, so it is very important the things that you're doing. Being an advocate for others out there, and I really wanted to know, with all these former key teammates and coaches, reaching out to you, how important has that brotherhood been in helping you and also inspiring you to become an advocate for others?
That's another great question. All you guys are asking phenomenal questions, by the way. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. And I want to thank Steve and Michelle for setting this whole thing up before I forget. Um, but I had FaceTimed with Melvin Ingram yesterday I mean, it felt like it was 3 days, but it was about 45 minutes. And he's like, dude, I'm coming down there. I'm flying down to Tampa next week. We're gonna hang out for a couple of days, and I just want to see you. And I mean, and then he sent me a wire transfer, which is just, I mean, it's absolutely insane the amount of support these guys that I played with freaking 20 years ago are showing right now, and it's humbling. You know, talked with Ace Sanders yesterday for a while. The fact that these guys are taking time out of their day to, because everybody's busy. I understand everybody's busy. The fact that they're taking their time out to call me for as long as they are and just share the message has been incredible. But yeah, it's truly amazing. Pat DeMarco's been calling people on his side to with doctors and anybody else that he can. And it's Alshon called me yesterday. I got to call him back. I mean, it's Marcus texted me. It's oh man, Jason Barnes, Wesley Saunders. I mean, all these guys have reached out, and it's been really cool. Kyle Nunn has been, that's a blast from the past. Quinn Richardson, these guys coming out of nowhere that I haven't talked to in forever. Uh, Ryan Broadhead, Hutch Eckerson, Kevin Young, Seaver Brown. Garrett Anderson, obviously Perry Orth has been, one of my best friends for a long time. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of guys, but the fact that these guys are reaching out to me and taking time out of the day it's truly been amazing. I mean, it's the Garnet and Black blood runs deep. I posted, Darius Rucker messaged me yesterday. It's truly just amazing the support that I've gotten so far.
Diesel.
Stephen, what advice have your doctors and care team given to your family about being the best they can to support you?
That's a good question. I don't really know what they've told them. But I would assume because we have a guy that I train, his kid, he's a surgeon for TGH, and he's really been the quarterback of this whole thing since Masha got the news from the result of the colonoscopy. He's lit his hair on fire. Dr. Alan Chajinski, he's been absolutely incredible. He's been in contact with my parents through the whole start of this thing, and I'm sure he said the same thing he's been telling me because he does not sugarcoat a damn thing. He is like Coach Spurrier, which is awesome. He says it like it is, and he's like, "We need you guys to be as upbeat and confident as humanly possible." Steven's going to need you guys in his corner, and I'd assume that's what he's telling everybody. That's what all the doctors are kind of explaining. And like to answer Trey's thing again, it goes back to mental health. And if you're in a positive state of mind, you're going to get through it. If you're in the dumps, you're going to stay down there. So, it's just trying to pull us all together and lead us in the right direction. And that's the game plan. There's no other option. This is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to do to beat this thing. And that's what's happening.
Carmen?
Hey, Stephen, thanks again for doing this. Just awesome to see everybody coming together around you. I wanted to just touch on, since we're in the Clemson area, the support you've gotten from the rivals, like you mentioned, with Alabama, with AJ McCarron, and Auburn, and Dabo, like you said, texting him right now, and Clemson football I saw reached out. What message do you think it's sending to everybody that all these rivals and former enemies, even teams that you beat during your playing days, are coming to show that support? The message you think that's sending to other people?
I think Clemson's post that they did explains it more, or explains it as best as possible. It's bigger than ball. It really is. Rivalry be damned. When a guy's down and is in his luck and he's got stage 4 cancer, come together and let's support this kid. And it's really been incredible, the amount of support and people reaching out. I in a million years never thought this was going to be the case. I never thought I'd be diagnosed with this. I never thought I'd have this much support. Never thought the GoFundMe would be going as well as it is. It's truly a humbling experience, and I just want to repay everybody that I possibly can with just kind of getting this word out and trying to encourage people to get checked out and put their health first. But I mean, it has been absolutely incredible to have people like Roll Tide Willie reach out. Like I said, AJ McCarron, Dabo Sweeney. I mean, all these guys that have reached out. It's truly incredible, and I can't thank them enough.
Any other questions for Stephen? Last call? Nothing? All right. First, I want to thank everyone for jumping on today and doing this and for the support and getting the word out. Stephen, thank you for taking the time. Michelle, for helping set this up as well. Stephen, we're all behind you, as you know, and anything we can do to help, man.
Yep. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time and helping me share this word. And Steve, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done so far. And obviously Michelle's here, and it's truly a blessing to have everybody in my corner and kind of spreading this word. It's going to help everybody. I hope at least it's going to help everybody kind of get their head out of their ass and wake up. And if they're not feeling well, get checked out. That's the main thing. And like I said, I'm using this new hashtag. It's quarterback your health, and that's kind of what we're going to try to get this momentum going, and people get checked out. And if they're not feeling well, that's the main goal. And again, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for taking the time and sharing this whole story.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. I live really close to Stephen, so I'll be over here once in a while making sure that we help him as much as we can. And I thank you guys so much for also being on here.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Michelle, Steve, for doing this. And Stephen, I know it takes a lot of courage to come out and do this, but you're really going to help so many people.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. I appreciate you guys more than you know.
All right, you take care, my friend.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, guys.